She used to be an actress.
She ever do anything I saw?
I think her biggest deal was she starred in a pilot.
What's a pilot?
Well, you know, the shows on TV.
I don't watch TV.
Yeah, but you're aware there's an invention called television, and on that invention, they show shows.
Yeah.
Well, the way they pick the shows on TV is they make one show, and that show's called a pilot. And they show that one show to the people who pick the shows, and on the strength of that one show, they decide if they want to make more shows. Some get accepted and become TV programs, and some don't and become nothing. She starred in one of those that became nothing.
Hey, Jason. By the way, we didn't plug that in. So we got to start over.
No, we don't. Just keep going. There you go. People love that. People love the rawness.
Sorry about that.
Welcome to Couch Pilots, all of my friends. It's the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, and with me is my cop who feels. It's Captain Philip Ressishire. Good evening.
It's good to see you. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Mentally questionable. You physically... I mean, you like top to bottom. It's always like you're flipping a coin every day.
Right. Every day is a gamble.
Yeah.
But
we had to postpone because of the weather, and then because of your furnace and your back. And this is the third date that we've organized to do this recording session.
Yeah.
We're a week late essentially,
right.
But it's because you are you're losing bone density.
On the captain's lounge, I didn't tell you about this party we had, but we had a party and there was a mud wrestling, and I tried to help the loser out of the mud, and she grabbed a hold of my arm, my hand to pull her up, and I fell in and I hurt my back.
Why am I invited to the party?
Huh?
Why am I not invited to the party?
We wanted to have fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We knew you would be worried about how clean it was or whatever.
Well, I feel bad about your back.
Thanks.
I want to circle back to that in a minute. Do you want to introduce?
No. This is all you. This is your honorary guest.
What's the? What should we use here for her? Should we use this one?
Yeah, use that one. She doesn't have her headphones on. Will you put those headphones on?
Oh, you're gonna want those. You get the full effect of the show.
You missed out on a lot of stuff already.
Yeah, you missed out on a lot of sound effects. I don't know. We've called her a couple times. Probably my third appearance. She wants her headphones turned down. Which one is it? This one? This one? It's 3. Right there. That's good.
Better. Yeah.
All right, it's my mom. Welcome to my mom.
Welcome, Mom.
We're just riddled
Hi,
with errors today. Riddled. You ever heard the Dog Police, Mom?
I don't think so.
It's a good song.
It's really good. I was talking to my mom recently about the election, and I won't go into too many details. And I was like, "What about Jeffrey Epstein?" And she's like, "I don't know about Jeffrey Epstein." And I was like, "He took a bunch of ladies to an island and had brought rich people there, and they all had sex with these young girls."
Did you watch that documentary?
No, I don't want to watch that shit.
I watched it.
I can't have that in my head. I
watched it.
But it's like, and my mom was like, "I don't know anything about that." It's like everyone that you love is on Jeffrey Epstein's list.
Everybody.
And then we were talking about how my mom loves John Travolta, and I was like, "John Travolta is a gay guy, a secret gay guy." And she's like, "What?" I think it's like there's a. I don't want to. My mom's not an ignorant person, but there's a bliss in not knowing things.
Sure.
They say ignorance is bliss, but she's not. She's a very smart.
She's
My mom's a very smart woman. But how do you not know about John Travolta being a secret gay guy? You ever seen Saturday Night Fever?
I have. I love that movie.
Sure.
Serious? You really think he's a gay guy?
Just there's all these allegations like John Travolta was getting a massage and some guy, and then he started grabbing that guy.
Let's be careful.
I'm trying to be.
I set up I set up rules for myself tonight.
Oh, I play by no rules.
Okay.
But I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I feel bad for John Travolta.
Well, he just can't be himself.
Well, his kid died, and his wife just died, and you're right. He can't be himself. You just want for you, for instance, you live in the closet, right?
Huh?
You're a secret gay guy, aren't you? It's miserable.
Not a secret gay guy.
Okay.
I don't want your mom to think the wrong things about me. That's why I live in the closet. I don't want your mom to think less.
You don't
of
want
me.
to come out. That's fine.
I would never think less of you.
What
Blake.
about? But you don't think anything John Travolta has ever done has been like the gayest thing you've ever seen? What's the follow up to? It's not
Encino Man.
No. It's Saturday Night Fever. And then the sequel is like
Urban Cowboy.
Staying Alive.
Oh, Staying Alive.
Like that movie is crazy gay, right?
I have never seen that.
No. Okay.
I think a lot of it has.
I just don't. Maybe it is bliss. I just never even thought about him
Yeah.
being.
There's nothing wrong with
gay.
that. You could be attracted to a gay guy.
Yeah.
Again, you ask Blake, right?
You know who my gay crush is?
Drew Tarver.
I got a new one.
Okay.
Dan Levy is my gay crush. He is a
don't get
good-looking fella.
Yeah. I don't know. You know Dan Levy? You know Eugene Levy?
Eugene's
It's his
son.
son.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Did you get into Schitt's Creek?
I really didn't.
I can't
I
get into
loved
it.
it.
Yeah.
It was great. But the funny thing is he hosted Saturday Night Live not too long ago, and his dad was on.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the end of it, when they're saying goodbye to everybody, I go, Molly goes, because Molly knows that he's my gay crush, right?
Sure.
And
As she should.
And this was very surprising. And obviously, I don't know my wife very well. She goes, Eugene Levy's a good-looking old man. I was like, what? She goes, they look a lot alike. I go, ugh.
You don't like Eugene Levy?
Well, I just don't think he's a good-looking man, but,
I think he's better looking now than he was in his younger
yes,
years.
because he doesn't have the fro going on.
Yeah.
It's funny. Where I was going to mention that actually next week. We're talking about it's a season we're doing of all failed pilots game shows. It's a season of game shows. The next week is a program hosted by David Letterman, and David Letterman, much better looking, like over 50 than he was. He's a weird looking dude.
He is an odd-looking dude.
I think it helped him because he was this kind of like fringe alt guy in the early 80s, and he'd have weird people on his show, and he couldn't do anything like Carson. That was part of the deal. It's like, you can come on after me, but you can't do anything like me. You can't have an orchestra. You can't have the same guests. So he's like, all right, let's just do the weirdest shit we can think of. And they did it.
Right.
But I think part of that is that David Letterman looks weird. And, but I think
He looks like a turtle.
as he's aged, I think he's gotten a lot, he's better looking with age.
He looks like Santa Claus.
I wish he'd get rid of all this. He was on Drew Barrymore today. Did you know that?
You mentioned that. I didn't seek it out or look into it, but I might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Facebook, I guess.
I'm sure it's YouTube.
Yeah. Or YouTube too, probably.
Try to focus on the mic. You don't have to make out with it, but just
Okay.
instead of turning your head all
She
the time.
can't help
you
but
lose
she
it.
can't help but look at you. That's the thing. That's why I position myself here. So I'm always looking at him. He's a very handsome young man.
It's got to
He's
be
not
miserable.
a gay crush on for you, is he?
Does Jason have a gay crush on me?
I'm right in the middle on the Kinsey scale. I've kissed some guys. It's very rarely been sexual though.
right.
Yeah, it's
You
more
kiss
for like
my
a free T-shirt
You kiss my wife a lot.
on the cheek. I've never kissed your wife on the mouth. I would never cross.
I
that
didn't
line.
say that. We get really defensive.
Well, I feel like
Maybe there's some stuff I
say
don't
this a
know.
lot. No, you say this a lot though. Like you're like I'm trying to accost.
But you're the
you.
only guy that I would let kiss my wife. Like I wouldn't let Adam Z kiss my wife
Oh
for
my
nothing.
God. Well, I mean, he's got a hygiene problem, so I wouldn't. I saw a whole loaf of bread in his beard once. It wasn't a cut or anything. It wasn't like fragments. It was an entire intact loaf of bread.
Nice.
He'll hear this.
Mom, it's very nice to see you. I'm very honored to have you be here. I do not like to have guests on this show. I do not. But when he said, I'm going to have my mom come on, I was like, now that's one I can stick with.
Aw.
And then I went in my room, and I took a pad of paper, and I made a list of all the things I wouldn't do.
Can you read that list?
Sure. It's 47 pages.
Just do like the first 200 or 300.
I won't
words.
cuss.
Okay.
I won't talk about Bobby socks. And the rest I can't say out
Oh,
loud.
it's that bad. Holy cow. Okay.
Well, I went from what's the worst thing I could say in front of your mom, and then that's kind of what I went the list.
Okay, yeah, stop right there then. That's fine.
And the only other person I do that with is Matt Phillips.
And he's the only other
Matt.
person that he says that he wants on the show.
Because I think there's some kind of like thing in the back of my mind is like, I want to be a good kid. I want to be a good guy.
You
I
are
want to be
developing a pattern.
I want to be a good person. And so I enjoy spending time with good people.
You feel like it's going to rub off on you.
I feel like it's going to, but it does.
Yeah, it does not.
Because usually as soon as they leave, I'm like,
You're back to your old ways.
yeah, so. But my wife said, I can't believe you didn't clean the kitchen. And she goes, is the bathroom downstairs clean? And I said, yes. It is.
My mom does a thing where she loves to use the bathroom at any house that's not hers. So she'll tell us.
My mom used to say that when we would go someplace, like a restaurant when I was little, that like I would purposely like ask to go to the bathroom every time. Like I had some kind of like I had to see the bathroom. It's weird.
Is that where Nora gets it then from me?
Your granddaughter and my niece.
Yes.
She loves to go to bathrooms.
She always has to see the bathroom, and she has to try the lotions.
Oh, really?
She loves to smell the lotions or the hand.
Her dad once said, probably about 8 years ago, she's like, my daughter's a space case. And she's never not been since then. That's the perfect word for her. Space case. It's great. I love it.
Space case.
What else are we going to talk about? Oh,
Neighbors.
Okay, let's talk about the neighbors then.
This is a well-known fact that you can't be that far from your mom.
I love my mommy.
And so you bought a house that is 3 doors down, not the band, from your mom.
Right.
And like every time I've come over to your house, like you're standing out the porch, you're kind of looking over to see what's going on. I'm like, oh, I wish she was over here. I wish she needed me to lift something.
Yeah.
And,
or like reach something. Right?
Yeah. And so you guys live very close together, which that means you spend an above average amount of time together.
Oh, yeah.
For a guy in his 30s.
Yeah. I'm still in my 30s.
You are, right?
Yeah, I am.
I don't ever remember.
Almost done.
Almost done.
But yeah, we live just a few doors down from each other.
3 doors down.
Right, thank you. And there's we have some neighbors. There's like old people in the neighborhood. There's a lot of old people, but they've been kind of dying in the past 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much,
so we've been getting some new neighbors.
How long have you lived there?
33 years.
33 years.
Yeah.
So I was 12.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want the listeners to understand, like,
how old you are now, like what a massive amount of time that is.
we never talk about how old we were.
We always talk about every episode. We talk about how old we were. But we have a neighbor. So people moved out a couple years ago. It's people that were friendly with my mom, and they're probably 5-10 years older than her. But they enjoyed spending time together. And then these people left, and then the people who moved in is like human garbage, I guess.
Are they renting?
I called them Sanford. From
Are they
Sanford
renting?
Sten. No,
They bought it.
they bought it, and they had lost their home in a fire, and were desperate to find something, and they talked our neighbors into saying they were desperate, and they just made a big deal out of it and talked them way down.
Oh.
And then they end up moving in and spending all kinds of money, and it was just kind of a bad deal. Very dishonest, and that's how they are. They're just, you can't believe anything.
And we've known the people who lived there before them, and before them, and before them, and that woman was like 100 years old who lived there, and we grew up around here. And I hate to do it, but the people who live there now, their house burned down before. I feel like their current house is going to burn down.
Why is that? I mean, are they partying? Are they fighting? Or is it
what
dogs?
You name off a list of things. just that personally you've been affected by.
Yeah. He drives a semi and he parks it in the front yard. He's got a 3-car driveway.
Sure.
But parks it in the yard. Not even on the driveway, in the grass.
And I think hopefully she's going from least to most offensive, because that's the least offensive thing.
And the whole yard is just filled with junk. And I said, it's starting to look like I'm going to start calling you Fred Sanford, because it's a junkyard over here. They put a pool in, and he's always got
They put a pool
ne'er-do-wells
in?
working in his house. He doesn't have anybody that's legit. And so they put the pool in backwards. So they had to redo it, and then they had a big leak in the pool.
Actually, initially they put it in upside down, which is odd.
Is it one of those like rubber ones, or is it like have aluminum walls? And
the
everything?
aluminum walls.
Oh, it's a real
it's
one.
dug. It's in ground.
It's in your okay. It's in
How do you
ground,
put it in reverse?
Well, you come out of their house and you expect to go the stairs down this way and have the deep end, far end.
Oh, there's a.
They want you to walk all the way around, skimmy by the fence, and go down that way.
So it's an in-ground.
It's
pool.
an in-ground pool.
Oh,
yeah.
wow!
And they back up to like a drop off into a creek. I feel like they're one mudslide away from losing everything, which would be fine with me. And then they had their dogs got out, ate your cat food, and they diarrheaed all over her yard.
Cha-cha-cha.
Yeah,
That's
there was something else too, right?
Well, our camper issue.
That's a big one.
What's
Oh my gosh! So
you guys have a beautiful camper.
Yeah.
You have a very nice camper.
Yeah, it's a fifth wheel. It's
Yeah.
it's very nice.
Her husband would live in it for long periods of time when he would be working out of town for the week. He would live in it. It was his home.
Working.
Well,
But we had been gone on vacation, which they knew, and we came home, and he flags us down before we get to the driveway. He says, "I just want to tell you, there's a friend of mine's cutting the tree down back there, and he went in your yard to get his machine back there. And I told him if he does anything to that camper, he's gonna be in trouble." Well, we were not happy about it whatsoever.
Because when they got home, they had drove through the yard and left tracks in the yard. Oh, like
They
dug in
went
the yard.
up our driveway, down our grass, and squeezed between our camper and their fence. So they couldn't go in their yard because they've got this garden that they never use. It's just a junk pile. But anyway, so they used our yard without our permission.
Tore up the
down,
yard.
Yeah, tore up the yard, cut down part of our tree without permission. And then come to find out, a couple weeks ago, we went in the camper to get something.
that was like 2 months ago.
Okay.
It was New Year's Eve.
So
New
yeah,
Year's
like about 6-8 weeks ago, and then just the other day.
Yeah. So just 2 weeks ago, I go in there to get something out of the camper, and
Your
part
taxes?
of this.
Is that where you keep your taxes? Is it in the camper?
It's not where I keep my taxes,
Okay.
but
What
that's
are we-
not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
But part of the ceiling is caved in.
So they say they dropped limbs on it and then
Oh.
it didn't tell you.
Did not tell us, so it rained in there for a month.
Oh.
So we've got huge.
Why have you not
huge
killed
damage.
them? Why
Oh.
have you not killed them? Did you go over there?
So Ron said something to him about it, and he said, "Well, here's the guy's name," and then he would not give us his phone number or the guy's phone number, and it's just again some guy that does a tree service.
Sure.
He's probably not insured or anything.
Sure,
He always
exactly.
has. He always has.
Yeah, he's just doing odd jobs, on the back end, they say.
You need to sue these people into
Well,
oblivion.
I know the insurance is gonna. They're on them. They're on them.
And then that's okay. So that's all the things just directly to my mom,
Right.
And I am a little upset because I feel like my mom is fairly passive about this. Something I
Sure.
wish she would be more aggressive because
Be
she's allowing
aggressive.
them
Be
to be this way.
aggressive.
What they do the rest of the neighborhood is they have these parties until like 2 a.m. with like crazy loud music,
Motorcycles?
Karaoke,
motorcycles,
yeah.
Karaoke?
I woke up Saturday night at
That's
2
weird.
a.m, exactly 2 a.m. with someone just cranking loud rap music. Yeah, and then
Wow.
that's I've called the cops on them 2 or 3 times.
Nothing's happened. They just go. They
Go over there and they stop them. But they will have a party again in like 4 weeks, 4 or
Right.
5 weeks. It's just that we hate
That's
them.
crazy.
So
Now, I remember when they first moved in, you weren't happy about the dogs. I remember that
Oh,
was
the
like
dogs
it was
are
the
terrible.
They
the
look
dogs
up-
were the first thing.
yeah, the dogs would like dig under their fence and run around outside and stuff. And
Wow, that's horrible. You know what?
Well, and then when the neighbor girl moved in, she went over and told him to turn it down. Well, she and the wife, this guy's wife, got in a knockdown, drag-out fight. Police came.
Oh yeah.
What?
It's it's our neighborhood's turning into white trash. We need genocide. We need like to do some sort of genocide. Is that the right word?
I think
Holocaust?
yeah, that was the word you were looking for.
Yes. I don't want to eliminate entire species or an ethnicity.
Sure.
Because they're the same ethnicity as me.
Just trash people.
right.
Yeah. That
And
makes
they're,
sense.
and they're like 50, but they just got married a couple years ago, and they act like they're
just garbage.
teenagers.
They're going through like a
and they're-
midlife crisis or
And
something.
they just think they're the coolest. They're just real obnoxious about everything.
If I were
yeah.
that camper is a beautiful camper, and
Mm-hmm.
I was actually gonna ask to borrow it this summer, but no, I wouldn't. But yeah, that's just shadiness. That's just shadiness.
Yeah, total disrespect. But from what we understand, the insurance company is going to go after them.
After the homeowners or the people that was driving the,
Both.
Okay.
Both the tree cutting guy and.
because you can subpoena, he's gonna have to give you the information, right? I mean,
Well, and the thing is,
Why did he not give you the information?
because he doesn't
he
want
doesn't want
his
get-
he doesn't want his bro to get in trouble.
But what
Well,
did he
he
say?
had-
Did he tell you I don't want my bro to get in
No,
trouble?
he
what did
just-
he say?
I messaged him several different times saying the insurance needs your phone number and your address. Well, his address I didn't say because he's next door, but and then the other guys, the tree cutting guys, phone number and address.
Yeah.
And he gave us the name of them. Finally, after days, gave us the phone number to contact this guy, but he would not give us his phone
insane.
number.
This is I would have lost.
And he knows how to get a hold of me because we're messenger friends, not friends, but
Best
because when his dogs get out, I'll message and say, Scott, your dogs are out. Get them back,
This is not friend of the show, Big E, Scott.
No, this is a different.
This is
Scott.
a different guy.
Yeah.
This is a 50-year-old Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Super disrespectful. Yet if anybody did anything like that on his property,
he would be all up. He would be all up in their front door, pounding on it, cussing, acting a fool.
So last episode that I heard of this program, you had mentioned we had X amount of listeners, which is surprising to me.
1,000 a month, if not more.
And so I was like, that's a lot of people. Of those people, surely there's someone out there who doesn't have a lot to live for.
Sure.
Right?
Probably a lot of them.
Contact the show. We have a job for you. One last job.
Right.
All right? Contact us at, what's the way to contact the program?
There is an email address. It's couchpilotspod.
Cast.
Cast.com. .gmail.com.
.gmail.com.
God damn it.
Contact us at .gmail.com.
You know what I'm saying. This is new for me. This is new. We don't do this. It was a great segue, by the way. A great segue.
300 episodes.
It's couchpilotspodcast at gmail.com. You can also go to our Twitter, which is couchpilotspod.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah.
No,
the Twitter is Couch Pilots Pod.
Okay, yeah.
Find us there. If you have nothing to live for, I'm looking at you, David Lytle. Give us a shout out. We've got one last job for you. And guess what? You and your family are gonna be taken care of.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we have some people that are obviously like not on the right side
Degenerates.
of the law. Okay.
Ragamuffins.
Not on the right side of the law would probably be better, but
ne'er-do-wells.
What can we do to this house without our footprint?
One last job. They pulled me back in.
Man, if I were you, I would. Now, does your husband? Are you keeping him under reins, or is he just like want to go over and?
They wrote the song "Mellow Yellow" about this guy.
Yeah.
All right, the dude is like completely pH balance.
Your husband's pH balance?
He is. He said something to him about it, and this neighbor did not even flinch.
Didn't even flinch.
He just said, "Oh, the guy's name is this," and then walked away. Mm-hmm. Didn't take any responsibility. It was obvious. It was obvious because this thing went through the roof and into the camper, and you could see how they had to pull this branch out. So it went through all the layer, and
because like the aluminum was probably pointed up because they tried to pull it out. As if something went in it, like the aluminum would go down.
It's not
pointing.
aluminum.
Well, you know what I mean. It would be. The damage would be pointing downward.
It's obvious what happened.
Yeah, very obvious.
Yeah, it's very obvious what happened.
Do you want me to kill them?
No, I can't say that. Can't say that. One last job for one of our lucky listeners.
One last
They'll
job.
be immortalized in our Hall of Fame.
I tell you what, we'll give 1 million frequent flyer points
that
to
you can bequeath to your family.
Sure, yeah, exactly, because you're not going to use them all.
You're not going to be around to use them.
But whoever gives us the best suggestion, right?
I was going to take it much further than that. Just contact me privately offline, and we'll discuss our options. We're going to talk. I feel like we're already going too long. So, Mom, you got. I'm going to talk about Blake's illicit drug use next time, and you've escaped this one. All right.
Okay.
You don't have to talk about your drug. I know my mom loves drugs.
What's your favorite drug?
We don't have to talk about it.
Percocet, Vicodin,
ibuprofen.
There you go.
Yeah. Actually, but before we get going, unrelated to anything else we've talked about, do you have any questions for my mom?
Let's see. I already did. Okay. So you've recently had children spawn some wonderful grandchildren.
Yeah.
And Lorelai is an amazing a granddaughter. But don't you think he should have popped out a couple more for you?
He does make good-looking kids, doesn't he?
He does. Well, I'm not trying to be weird or anything, but she's a very beautiful young girl. So that leads me into the actual question.
I can't get pregnant.
Can you take your earphones off for a second?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Why can he not commit to a relationship with anybody? Why do you think that is? Did you break him, or do you think somebody else broke him, or do you think he's been broken since he scratched you? A little inside joke for the three of us.
I don't know. He's always said he would never get married.
But he's warped in the head, right? Like a little bit?
I don't know. I think he'd... I think maybe the right one just has not come along yet.
Out of the thousands, you would think that
He's had some really nice girls.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that makes me think that he's the one that's broken. Because I don't know if you know this, but I have been
Put my headphones back on.
I have been designated the one. If and when he does get married, hopefully, I have been designated as the person who's going to give the best man speech. I'm not the best man. I'm not the best man. But I'm going to give the speech. I mean, after the real best man does, then I'm just going to kind of walk up on the stage.
What are you guys talking about?
But is he broken? Can we fix him, or we just going to let him ride it out?
I don't know what it is.
Are you talking about me?
But you are disappointed. I mean, the rest of your kids have given you a multiple grandkids. You are disappointed in?
Well, his younger brother is not married either.
Well, but he's younger. He's still soiling his oats, quote unquote.
I don't know. It's just got to be his deal.
All right.
There's not much I can do about it.
Are you worried?
I'm not worried.
Do you lose sleep over it?
No.
Really?
I don't. No.
You have confidence in him.
Absolutely.
See, my mom doesn't have confidence in me. She worries about me all the time. Oh, you go up.
Well, I worry about him, but I mean, I don't.
But you don't think he's gonna miss something?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think he's fine.
Okay.
He's
Mother is.
He's good.
Mother is clouded by love. Oh, he's fine. He's not fine. I love him to death, though. Okay,
I do too.
Jason, go ahead and put your headphones on. And I will say that.
What are you guys talking about?
That Jason is. I consider Jason my best friend in the whole world. I really do. He doesn't consider me his best friend, which is understandable.
I don't know about that.
I don't really care for him.
But Jason is my best friend in the whole wide world.
Aw.
So
the whole wide world. That what you just said makes me think that when my headphones are off, you were talking about me the whole time.
I was talking good about it. I'm a concerned best friend.
About my health?
Oh, yeah. So concerned about your health.
Today we discussed the pilot episode of Cop Out from the year of our Lord 1972. Now, that was a great year.
Great year. 1972. I was negative 3 years old.
This is the part of the show where we talk about how old we were.
Oh, yeah. So in 1972, I was negative 3. You were negative 9. 9.
That's right.
You were negative 9, and you were 13.
I was Lorelei's age.
15. My daughter's 15.
Well, 14. I was 14. I was a freshman.
Freshman in high school.
She was merely a freshman.
That's right. My mom.
You go to East Peoria?
Yeah.
No.
Morton.
Oh.
Sorry.
Do you have any recollection? Can you think about a year and be like, I remember what happened this year? I don't think in terms like that. Can you do that though?
Like, can you say anything that happened in 1972 that you remember?
Blake and I were just babies up in heaven, waiting to come down to Earth, but you were living here.
You know what? So I went to a Catholic grade school in town, but I was going to go to the public high school.
Ooh.
And I was scared to death.
Because there was no Catholic high school for you to go to, or because your parents decided we need to put her in the real world?
I think it was probably too expensive to go to.
Yes.
There were 6
Academy
kids.
in Morton.
Six kids.
6
Jeez,
kids under the age of 7.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
Busy.
There's 2 reasons they called him Grandpa Pipe. All right. It is funny.
All right. So in 1972, can you remember anything that specifically, like globally, or like country wise?
Okay.
I was hoping like she would have an experience from her own life, but yeah, we'll take all.
Well,
comments.
I was just gonna say, I just clearly remember we only had like a couple of outfits each,
sure,
because people just didn't have a lot of clothes back then. And I had my school uniform, I had play clothes, and I had church clothes. But I got a couple new outfits to go to high school because you didn't have to wear a uniform.
Right.
So I remember exactly. I had it laid out for weeks ahead of time because I was so nervous, and I think I practiced walking to school. I don't know. I was just so nervous about going to high school because I didn't know anybody.
It was a completely different.
And everybody knew everybody because they all went to the junior high, and there were so few of us that.
Well, which house were you living in at this time?
On Jackson.
Okay, so the high school was literally just a couple blocks away.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And you practice walking there.
I think I did for time. I mean, I was
like, what's a time?
She had a stopwatch.
I was worried about how long it would take me to get there, and I was worried about not getting there in time.
But you cared enough.
This explains something about me, right? Does this?
It could, that's why I was kind of dragging the questions more and more because it's kind of like your defense. Like if you were on trial,
The Nuremberg defense.
if you were on trial, your mom would be the first person that I would call as a witness to explain
for the defense.
to explain how nuts you are.
Yeah, right.
We're nuts in different ways. Like,
Yeah.
I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I am very crazy. I have a lot of,
And I'm crazy for you.
I'm crazy for you too. But
Madonna.
we're different crazies. Like you can function crazy. I
Yeah.
can't function.
Yeah.
Like you're crazy to have like 2,000 bottle caps with magnets on them. I'm crazy.
Yeah, for that list of 49 pages there you got. Blake and I weren't alive back then, so we have to talk about some things that happened in 1972 so we can properly be in the mindset of when Cop Out was made.
Right, because we can't look at Cop Out from 2021.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
No.
Right? That's many, many years ago.
They didn't have like CGI back then, so we have to go back to 1972 in our minds. So I'll talk about a couple things that happened back then. April 12th of that year, the X-rated animated movie Fritz the Cat is released. You ever hear tell of that?
I saw that when I was in college at ISU.
Tell me
I didn't.
Tell me everything. that
I
you
don't
remember
even
about that.
recall. I don't think I even really watched it.
Can you tell me what the situation was that
No
somebody
shit.
said,
Yeah,
hey,
let's
we're
hear
going to
that.
watch this?
It wasn't my idea. I didn't even know anything about it. Somebody.
What was his
just
name?
I
We're
think
gonna
people
kill
on
him.
our floor had said, "Let's go see this," and it was
so did
showing
you-
on campus.
Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah.
it was showing on campus.
Yeah.
So you went. It was So it was being shown somewhere on film. It's not like you guys had like an 8mm in someone's room. You had a
No,
bed sheet on the wall watching it or anything. Okay. So do you remember the movie?
I remember nothing. I don't remember even really watching it, to be honest.
Blake, have
I'm
you
so
heard
bad
of it?
about movies. I fall asleep in them usually.
We've talked about it recently in the past, but I have not seen it.
We've talked about Fritz the Cat recently.
We mentioned it.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Boy, I gotta remember the shows better. What do
Have you
remember?
watched it?
I watched a few minutes. I was kind of scanning through it after I heard about it here. I was like, "What is this?" And it's it's pretty dirty. It's pretty racist too. I think it's got a lot of like racist undertones of stuff. But it's like a lot of cats having sex with each other.
Oh, that's cool.
A lot of boobs.
Are there like Siamese cats in there?
No.
Oh, I'm not watching it.
Okay. That's so
Oops.
funny. That's so funny.
Hold on a second.
You went to a like Bone Student Hall or something?
Yeah, exactly. Something on campus they were showing.
Wow, that's weird how
And
they
I
would...
and I don't even. I mean, I just went because everybody else was going. I think it was people on our floor, and I really, honestly, I don't even remember watching it.
Did you hang out with like
I
an
think we
artsy
were-
group of people? Like an artsy group of
No.
people? Really? Just
That's what it was like. That's what it seemed like to me. Like in today's terms, it's like crazy tame.
Right.
But it's I think it's about an hour or something, and it's that like total classic 70s animation, and it is dirty, but it's like very tame. So like I guess I can see them showing it on campus as kind of an art film. That's a very valid question about the group
Thank
that
you.
she hung out with. Anyway,
I'd never heard of it before.
I just kept thinking of that Felix the cat.
Felix,
That's
yeah,
what I kept
yeah.
thinking. I was like, I don't want to see Felix doing anything like that. And then it turns out it's Fritz the cat.
Felix the cat was like heavy set, right?
I don't think so. He turned into a clock at one point.
Really?
Yeah. Do you remember? You seen the Felix the cat where the tail goes back and forth?
Oh, yeah.
On the wall?
Yeah.
April 17th, the first Boston Marathon in which women are officially allowed to compete. Have you guys, either of you ever compete in an athletic competition?
When I was at ISU, I did.
Right after they watched the movie, it got everyone's hormones and juices were pumped up. Like, let's put these kids to work.
No, it was some. Gosh, what was it?
Was it tennis related?
No, it was. It was some fundraiser, and everybody and I had to write.
Like a walkathon.
No, it was all different events.
Beer pong.
And I had to ride the bike portion, and I got on, and I hadn't ridden for a while, and I got on this bike, and we're riding the inside track at ISU. And I rode so hard that all of a sudden my legs like locked up on me, and I just couldn't even walk. Because then I had to walk to the next person to tag them,
yeah.
and I couldn't. I just
You're crawling
I
on
just
the
remember
ground?
somebody had to help me.
Really?
I could not even walk.
See,
My
now
legs-
if we had talked earlier, if you guys didn't talk so long about all that other crap at the beginning of the show, we could have gotten to the drug use and found out just exactly why my mom was so screwed
Your mom
up.
has never has never done drugs in her life. Your mom has never done drugs in her life.
you know, I lived in the 70s. So there was some experimentation.
It rhymes with heroin.
Oh, no, not that.
Let's see here. Blake, you ever do an athletic competition at all? You ever...
Well, yeah, I played 3 years on the golf team.
Mm-hmm.
I played 1 year on the basketball team in high school. As you know, I'm a very avid bowler.
Right.
And
You had that thing with Matt this summer.
I almost beat Matt at basketball.
I mean, he played Matt in basketball. There's a difference.
I won best costume. I'll say that.
I'll give him that.
Well, you guys used to do that competition.
We did Gus Macker.
Oh, yeah. I got kicked out of the Gus Macker, and where was it?
Probably in Washington, Illinois, because you had a Phillips screwdriver in your sock.
No, it wasn't in Washington. It was like, not Rockford, because I would have got killed, but it was, some little podunk town. But I got ejected from the game.
Nice, good
because
work.
this guy kept fouling me, and
And he tickled him.
And finally, he got a rebound and was trying to take it back, and he was going by the scores table, and I just shoved him onto the
Oh,
scores table.
jeez.
Well, that's just the
Streeter,
opposite of you
Streeter.
guys, because you guys got the...
It was Streeter.
Oh, Streeter. Oh, that's
Yeah.
a pretty rough town.
Well,
Is
look
Streeter
at
a
me.
rough town?
Look
Yeah.
at me.
It can be,
I'm
yeah.
pretty rough. I mean,
But you guys got the
I
award.
think I have 3 Gus Macker trophies.
Wow.
I think 2 good sportsmen and 1 second place or something.
wow. Okay, well, I didn't get a trophy.
Remember
so.
the book? You'd open up the book for the Jordan hands.
I did that once in a
Oh,
picture.
just once?
I just did that once. I used to sometimes as a joke they would put me on as the 4th person on their team, and then I would show up in a suit in the blistering heat and act like their coach. I'd have carried around a clipboard.
Okay.
And in some cases I did play, but I'm not good.
Well,
But the one in Washington, you had the book.
No, I think that was downtown Peoria.
Oh, downtown
Yeah, that
Peoria,
was downtown Peoria.
with the big Jordan hands, full size. They're huge,
Yeah, that happened once.
and everybody on the team would go up and they'd pat the.
Oh, did they do that? I don't
Yeah.
remember that part. I just remember that I thought there was
Yeah.
a picture taken of me.
No, they had to go up and slap it. And,
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my memory's awful. I think I do the same thing too much, and it just
Sure.
everything's ground down like an old pair of boots.
well, that's like Molly says. I always say, you used to think I was the funniest man you ever met.
Oh, not anymore.
And she goes, yeah, that's the same jokes for 10 years. You're not funny anymore.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
boy, I can't wait to get married.
I made a joke. I made a joke tonight at the Moose where she actually put her hand over my mouth.
Sounds right.
Yeah, because I said the word moist.
You can't. There's a few words you can't say for women. April 22nd, Sylvia Cook and John Fairfax finished rowing across the Pacific. Took 363 days. Have either of you heard of this?
No. Oh my gosh.
And that's
So-
kind of like exactly.
What's the point? If nobody remembers it, why would you do it?
That's exactly right. Like they're like, this is our legacy. We'll be in the history books, and everything's like, we threw all the history books in the garbage. Like no one's talking about this. No
Yeah.
one remembers. So why?
Wow. In what kind of boat? Does it say what kind of boat?
Rowboat.
Rowboat.
Serious.
I don't know. what
On
kind of
those
boat.
kind
Well,
of
they have to
waves
row.
and
They have to
stuff?
row. It said
It's
row.
probably like a kayak or a row. Something. Yeah. Something.
What's the
small.
difference between a kayak and a rowboat? A kayak would be smaller than a rowboat.
Canoe.
A canoe is in the middle of a rowboat and a
Well,
kayak.
the kayak, if you flip over, you flip back.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's what. Nope. Not doing
Yeah,
it.
please keep it cleaned. All right, I don't know about you guys, but I'm safely and securely, mindset-wise, back in 1972.
Me too.
Mom, do you know why we chose to watch Cop Out?
There's 3 reasons why.
Because they smoke on the set.
That's one.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Okay.
Because they're sexist.
That's what she thinks of the show. Do you hear that? That's what she thinks of the show.
Yeah.
Of us. That's what she thinks of us.
A little teaser there.
Okay, and the third one?
Because of all the cool celebrities.
Those are all wrong. You can find the entire episode of Cop Out by subscribing to Couch Pilots and SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube. Mom.
Flight attendants.
Can't do it.
Prepare for takeoff.
All these buttons make different noises. You like that one?
It's relaxing.
What about this one?
Welcome to Madlibs, the world's only wordcast.
That sounds real. Like
Yeah.
it's.
It was real.
Yeah, that is a real
I'm sorry.
sound.
I'm sorry. Of course it's real.
It was a real idea.
Very-
Can you?
Very real.
It's kind of hot in here. Can you open up a window for me?
Sure.
Thank you.
There you go. Summary of the pilot. 8 celebrities get together for an informal game of whether they're telling the truth or whether they're copping out. What do you think, Blake?
I'm going to give it a B+.
Really?
Yeah.
That's one sentence. It's so concise. I thought you were going to go higher. Mom, do you want to grade the summary of the pilot? You don't have to.
Man, I would say maybe a C.
And you were a teacher.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Well, there's just so...
That might be the most valid rating we've ever had for a
Yep.
summary coming from an actual teacher.
There was just nothing... I don't know. There
Okay,
was
that's fine.
nothing to it.
Well, we're just talking about the summary.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about interesting facts.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Interesting Facts. This is the part of the show where Jason, because he's a stay-at-home worker, scoured the internet to find facts about this show that you may not know while I was hard at work. There's a main rule for this, and the main rule is don't let your opinions affect other people. Don't talk about these facts. Don't say, oh, that's true, that's not true. You do not want to taint someone else's experience in regards to these facts.
What hard times are, Daddy? You don't know what hard times are.
Producer Chuck Barris, host Jeff Edwards, announcer, my favorite guy, Johnny Jacobs. Love Johnny Jacobs. Any of those names sound familiar to you?
Yeah.
You know all those names?
Yeah. Was Johnny Jacobs on Price is Right?
No, I think that was Rod Rowdy, and then John. I think was that Johnny Jacobs? It was John something.
It was John something.
I don't know if it was Johnny
Okay.
Jacobs because he goes by John. Because I would watch a ton of Prices Right.
Which is another problem of yours.
Oh, it was Johnny somebody. Not
Knoxville. I think it's Knoxville.
Yeah, I watch. I was watching it today. I love the Price is Right. I cheer for everyone that goes up on stage.
Have you ever just saw somebody go up and go, oh, they don't deserve to win anything?
No,
Really?
no, I cheer for everybody. I want everyone to win.
Because when I'm working at the Moose and I see people go back to the slot machines, there's some people I'm like, I hope they win.
Well,
There's
we're talking about degenerates.
There's some people I'm like, I hope that doesn't win nothing.
Yeah.
One of my old principals was on the Price is Right.
He got to contestants row.
Uh-huh.
Did he get to play a game?
I don't know. I don't remember if him and his girlfriend went. I don't know if they got up on the stage.
You said your sister at one point had committed to memory all the different prices
Oh,
of
yeah.
yeah. That's true.
She kept a notebook and wrote down every single price and the cost. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lady on there who did that same thing. I could tell. And
Did it help? Did it help?
She dominated.
Oh, really?
She
Okay.
dominated, won everything.
All right.
She went out of her mind. She couldn't believe that she.
That's
had
kind of like the people that keep track of the lotto numbers. You know, they play every week and they keep track of. And
I won't play those because those came up already.
Well, they have
that kind of thing?
they have spreadsheets like, oh, 39 comes up 60% of the time, so I'm going to play 39.
Okay.
That's Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, it's my sorry. Celebrities on the show: Lois Nettleton, James Ferrantino, and
Do you remember James Ferrantino?
Kind of.
he's sick.
Yeah.
He's dying.
He is dead.
No, Blake is
Oh.
sick and dying. Okay, well, I was going to ask. Okay, two things about James Ferrantino. One, do you remember James Ferrantino?
I remember when I saw him, I was like, oh, that looks familiar, but I couldn't match him to anything.
He was in a pilot that we watched from the 80s called American Nuclear with a young Mark Ruffalo.
I got you now. I got you.
And two, is James Ferrantino, was he like a
Sex symbol?
Was he a sex symbol?
I
show
think
is
somewhat,
broken
but
back.
he didn't do a whole lot. I mean, I looked it up. I didn't see that he did a whole lot.
You looked it up? Why would you? I don't.
Hey, I do my research.
No.
You've done more with you just saying that you've done more research for the show than Blake has ever done. Now he was apparently married to Michelle Lee.
Is that who's? That's a.
What? They was sitting right next to him.
Yeah. Was that?
She was a babe.
Yeah.
She did more than he did.
I
I
bet
mean, she was more popular. You know
Nope.
what I mean?
Nope.
Clean it up.
I got 2 strikes right now.
Bill Bixby.
Oh, I always loved Bill Bixby.
I had always thought that Bill
He was the one that was smoking, correct?
no.
No, that was
Dickie Dawson.
that was Larry Hovis.
And Larry, yeah.
You call him Dickie Dawson?
Dickie Dawson.
Richard Dawson.
Richard.
And they were on
always thought-
Hogan's Heroes together.
Who?
Yes,
Richard
Hogan's Heroes.
Dawson and Larry Hovis.
Yeah.
But Larry Hovis was smoking too, because I know who
Larry-
Dickie Dawson is. He was the one that did the Family Feud.
Yeah.
But the other one was smoking too.
Yeah,
he was.
they both were.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Bill Bixby died in his 50s. I'd always thought he killed himself. He did not kill himself.
I did too.
I always maybe that's why I heard that, because you poisoned me with Bill Bixby's suicide.
Something.
Well, no.
I swear it was. I was shocked when I read that too, because he had a infection or something. Didn't he?
He died in the hospital or something. He
Yeah.
had some medical
Well,
thing.
the only Hogan's Hero, there is a Hogan's Hero that killed himself, right? It was the one that was the pervert that made the movies.
I don't know that.
Bob Crane.
Bob Crane.
Bob Crane did.
Yeah, he killed himself.
Did you get Bob Crane mixed up with Bill Bixby?
No. I
She was like,
Bill
no,
Bixby.
I would never do that. No.
I always really liked him.
Well, the only people that I recognize name-wise out of this are Della Reese, Richard Dawson, Bill Bixby, and James Ferrantino. I didn't know the other four, which were Ann Elder, like you guys mentioned, Larry Hovis, and then I didn't recognize the others though. But the other, I know Richard Dawson from Family Feud,
Sure.
the original host.
He was a drunk, right? He was a perverted drunk.
He was a
right?
guy who would be
The
like,
British guy.
Didn't he
that
get in
did
trouble
something.
for something?
you say he's a British guy,
Yeah.
Didn't he get in trouble
but
for
he
something?
didn't speak with an accent.
Oh yeah, he did.
Richard Dawson?
Yeah.
Did he speak? He didn't speak with an accent on this show.
I don't think so.
No, you're way
Bring
wrong.
him up.
You're absolutely wrong.
Bring him
okay,
up.
I'll look up Richard Dawson. But this is what
Call God and say, hey, we need to talk to Richard Dawson for a few minutes.
Here's the thing about Richard Dawson. I think he was like oddly maybe most famous for being not only being the host of the original Family Feud, but he would like kiss women on the mouth.
He was a big kisser and a groper.
Kind of a pervert. Yeah.
I watch a lot of the Price is Right,
Oh,
and a lot of women's are kissing him on the cheek.
Sure.
But this guy, I think, would kiss every woman on the mouth. Okay, so he is. It says he's English born.
Yeah.
But he didn't have an accent in this show.
Yeah, he does.
In the Cop Out that we just watched.
Oh,
What show were you talking
yeah.
about?
I think you were talking about Family Feud. But yeah,
Talking-
I don't know that he. I don't know that he. It wasn't as strong as some people, with the accent.
I didn't notice it at all. Did you in Cop Out?
I did not know that.
He was English born.
Mm-hmm.
I would say he has no accent. I picked up no accent whatsoever. That's just that's a fact.
It's not strong, but it's definitely. It's there. But
Taping info was taped in 1972 at Studio 33 CBS Television City in Hollywood, California, home of The Price is Right. But this show did not make it to air.
No, it did not.
You ever hear this song before?
It sounds familiar.
It's really good.
Will you play my favorite one?
Yeah, hold on a second. You ever hear this song? Turn it back down. I'm going to turn it up here. You ever hear that song before, Mom?
yeah, what is it?
Tell her? Will you let her guess? He's in a great mood.
What is it? I don't know.
We got to change this to his ringtone, man. He's in a great mood now.
What's it from?
Can't tell you. It's super secret.
It's like the match game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, the match game. Oh yeah.
Thanks, I had
Gene
a-
Rayburn.
I had a bit going, but thanks.
This pilot did sell in a way, actually. The theme song, Little Russian Song, was included on the 1973 release Chuck Barris Presents Themes from TV game shows, a compendium of his themes at the time and of interesting facts.
Thank you. Good job. I appreciate all that work you did.
Thank you. Twitter responses.
Twitter responses. I wonder if Jason got some Twitter responses.
No, they're all dead. Let's put 10 minutes on the clock, and we will talk about the entire show. We'll
Sure.
break it down almost beat by beat. You got a lot of notes. Most people don't bring notes. Tim was our last guest. He brought notes.
Matt brings notes.
Matt brings notes. Only the good ones.
Yeah. The rest of them are like, I'm just going to get drunk and come over.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Do you want to start us off, Blake? You seem raring. Raring?
I think we're having one of these issues that we have quite a bit lately,
What?
where I take notes and then I look back on those notes and go, I probably drank too much when I was.
Yeah. Mom, you want to start us off?
Sure. One of the first things I noticed is Jeff Edwards, and then it's a girl contestant and a guy contestant.
Yeah.
And they're literally at this little tiny table, sitting shoulder to shoulder, like they had no room to.
It's
even.
a 4-foot table. It's back when
Right.
it was back when human beings
And
topped out at 5'10" and weighed exactly 98 pounds.
And the guy is very squirrely looking. Like he's got like dark, like the glasses that change in the sun,
Yeah.
a little darker. And he's kind of balding on top. He just looks like kind of skeezy.
creepy. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the girl, a beautiful young lady that you were like, oh, she's going to be contaminated.
So we'll say that the stage is kind of almost a half circle with
It reminded me of like Love Connection without the pillars, like in between. You know what I mean? It was kind of rounded like that.
Yeah.
And there was 7 stars, quote
I
unquote.
think there was 8, wasn't there, or was it 7?
It was 7.
Okay.
It was 8, actually.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
You left somebody out.
I
Which
was-
one did you not like?
I was drinking. I don't know. So they go through and they announce each one. You know, they introduce each one of the stars, and they go to a commercial break.
Well, it's the whole thing starts with them asking a lady. What was her name? Was that
Lois or Ann Elder.
Cheryl?
Lois
Cheryl.
Nelton, wasn't it? I think it was Lois Nelton. She was the first one in line, right? It was Lois, then James, Michelle, Bill, Ann, Larry, Della, and Richard, or Dickie, as it were. And
Little Dicky,
but
the
they say
rapper?
Little Dicky the rapper. It says it's an off. It's Johnny Jacobs, I assume. And he's saying, "Hey, he's talking to a lady that's torso up. It's just seeing this girl. It's a big black drop with a lot of small round lights, orange lights." And they say, "What is your favorite way to terminate an affair?" And she says, "To fire her boyfriend."
Right.
And then they do the intro to the show. He says, "We're going to find out if she's telling the truth or copping out."
Right, and this is where they explain the score system, right? This is I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, this is one of the biggest problems I have with the show. So, like, if it's your turn and a star says something, you say they're telling the truth or copping out.
Yeah.
And let's say you get $100, right? If you get it wrong, okay, so then you go to the next one. If you get it wrong, the person who hasn't even answered a question yet gets all 100 points. I just want to make that clear.
There's a number of problems with this show, for sure. After a short break, Jeff Edwards is sitting there with the two ladies, I think Cheryl Power and Frank Serico. And then the celebrities are all sitting on the line on the other side of the stage. And Frank is asked if Ann Elder told... Oh, you're right. It was Ann Elder, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It told the truth at the top of the show. And Ann locks in an answer. And then they go to the stars. And this is everyone's chance to kind of riff.
Do their riffs, do their jokes. Yeah, so they always do that. Each time there is one... The star answers, whether it's a cop out or they tell their thing, and then the host goes, "Okay, well, the next person in line," and they go in order each time. So each time,
go right down the line.
Yeah.
Do 8 questions, get all the
And
celebrities.
it's just to do some little goofy bits or say something sarcastic or smart.
They get like 3 or 4 different people saying different things, and then she's like, "I think he's telling the truth," and she's like, "I was copping out." And so with the wrong answer, like you said, the money goes like
To the other person without
Completely.
without even
Every
answering.
bit of it. Yeah, I know. It was kind of weird.
And then what did they ask James Ferrantino, Mom? You remember?
What immature quality have you not been able to rid yourself of for years?
Yeah.
And his answer?
Was his anger?
Well, his first answer, she's going to say.
Bedwetting.
Oh yeah.
This turns into 5 or 6 separate jokes that wane heavily.
It's
in
almost
quality.
it's almost as it was scripted. Like, you know
Although
what I mean?
supposedly they don't know the questions ahead of time.
Right,
That's what
but-
they claim.
Claim.
But didn't they open the show? Maybe not. I thought they opened the show by saying something to make it sound like this is not their first episode. Maybe that was next week's show. I don't remember. But I hate when they do that. They act like they're like, "Oh, we've been on the air for a long time," and no, this is the first episode. And you relish it. He says, "I have a childish temper. I scream a lot." And then this is where I note that Richard Dawson looks like Captain Kangaroo.
Well, yeah, for sure.
I would say that
Yeah.
at this point, Richard Dawson looks exactly like Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got the big mutton chop sideburns.
Gray enough to be not completely gray, but
Right.
pretty
He's getting
close
there.
to being gray.
He's getting there. And he's got the suit coat with the big lapels or whatever that is.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's
That
what
was the style, yeah.
Captain Kangaroo had that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I made that note. And then they're joking around, and I note Della Reese. She's very like earnest and just like very like
Is that the black singer?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's one of her famous songs? I like.
Touched by an Angel. The TV
The
show.
TV show, yeah, she was on there.
Do you remember her? Do you remember her growing up though?
Was she
Some, but not
but she was a
a whole
singer
lot.
turned TV person?
Yeah, I think she was mostly singer.
Yeah,
was
I
known
think she
for
was like
music
an
first.
R&B musician.
And then did TV.
Yeah, but she did Touched by an Angel for like that show was like quietly on for like 10 years or something.
Kind of like
Once upon a time.
Colin Quinn, Medicine Man. What's the name of that show? Obviously, because you're laughing, I know it was.
You know that's not it. You know it's not Colin Quinn Medicine Woman.
But that was on for like a long time, and you're like, who watches this, right?
So that's the greatest thing you can possibly ask for is like to be an actor and have this job and like because you can be really popular and then like season 4 sucked, we're canceling you.
Yeah.
But like if you sneak around Friday night and you have a half hour to an hour show on like Friday night and the ratings are okay, you can go for 10 years.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's what they did with
Colin Quinn.
Colin Quinn. You know Colin Quinn, Mom? He's a comedian.
I'm not sure.
He's a comedian.
He
sure I do.
was a medicine person.
Okay.
Yeah, I suppose he was. So who was next, Mom? Who was asked the next question, and what were they asked?
Well, Michelle Lee, what do you find yourself doing all the time to feed your ego?
Probably a good question for celebrities, right?
Sure.
I felt the questions were just rather
Vague.
nothing they would ask nowadays.
Oh, yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And then the other girl question was, what was the most surprising thing you ever learned about the opposite sex?
Yeah.
But then they asked Della Reese this very simple question: what's your biggest hang up? So not like
Well,
the
sing.
others.
They said sing your biggest hang up. They're playing into her strength.
Right, but so
that's right.
So what you're saying
Yeah.
is they were kind of cushioning the women's questions more so than the men's
Della Reese's more than the other women. I felt like they were.
because she's black.
I don't understand what you're
you
saying.
can go ahead and say it. You can go ahead.
I felt like they were being very careful with her.
I think they were throwing her a softball
Yes.
because she was African American at that time in 1972,
I
right after the Civil War.
maybe so. I thought they were just like I said, playing into her strength of sing something for us.
Well,
Yeah,
it
I
was
forgot
like
it was singing, yeah.
show your talent because she sang the answer,
Yeah.
and it was like something like
But they asked her to sing it. They're like, set up straight, clear your voice or clear your throat because we want you to sing this next one. They knew she was a singer. They wanted her to. I didn't find any kind of racial bias here or anything like that. But,
well, maybe look a little harder.
you know what I need to do is learn more about the Civil War.
Well, the Civil War had really two main points.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, so there was the North.
Number 1, the North.
Yep, give me a North sound effect.
You don't know what hard time.
Right, so in the North, they were like, hey, we're spending all this money and we have no way to make money. The South is like, we make money and we have so much of it that we don't know what to do with it. So the North says, hey, give us some of that money so we can get bigger and more prosperous. And the South said, nah. And that's what they fought about.
Did you teach the Civil War, Mom, when you were a teacher?
No.
What did you teach? English?
Special ed.
But see, that covers
Yeah.
like a wide range
So,
of things.
yeah,
so I didn't
so
know
kind
if
of-
you did cover
Sure.
the Civil War.
Yeah, we didn't do
Or
American.
civil rights, either one.
Yeah, we did. Well,
Colors.
no,
Sorry.
Put that on the list. Start at
we
page
did
50.
Illinois state history more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Abraham Lincoln, right?
and the what do you
Lu-
ap test you have to take?
Lewis.
The state.
SATs.
LSTATs.
What is the test? Oh my gosh.
MR
SATs.
PPAP.
The Constitution
Constitution test.
You got it, Blake. Good job.
Do you like me more? Do you like me more now?
I've been gone 3 years, and I did that for how many years?
Yeah,
I've already
if you
forgotten.
don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go through a few more here. Basically, every question, we'll go through some of the questions here. So, Bill Bixby, we want to know how you reinforce your masculinity. And then he says flirting. He says, I take a lot of vitamin D, and they says flirting.
And there's one part that, like the announcer is like asking a question, and the music just starts like right in the middle of the question.
I think a couple times.
Yeah, it happened twice.
Yeah. Basically, it was going to a
And-
commercial break, but there was
There was no cue for it, and so the announcer is kind of like, but the host is like kind of laughs it off, like, we're going to commercial. Like nobody gave me a sign.
Yeah. And then, like Mom said, there's the most surprising thing you learned about the opposite sex. That was asked to Lois. And then finally, Richard, they're like, or Larry's like, what's your most primitive desire? And then Della Reese, they asked her to sing a thing. Michelle, or last one, Richard, what's your favorite substitute for romance? Basically, every one of these was answered incorrectly.
Sure.
So the whole episode, all you get is 8 questions,
right?
But one for each of the celebrities, and then every question was answered incorrectly. So all the money went back and forth between the people until the final one that girl got it right.
And something I noted was the smoking, and then you mentioned that question for the Family Feud guy,
Dickie,
which was what do you have in?
It was
substitute for romance.
And he said, being around children.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of
And
weird.
I was uncomfortable, and the host even pointed it out. Like, if I was the host, I would have skipped over it, but the host was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he's like, Dickie's like, no, I didn't mean that. And I was just like, you can't go back now. Like, even in 1972, I was like, that was a weird answer. Like, if you said to me, what do you put in place for romance, right? I was like, beer.
Yeah.
Not
but
little kids.
Someone could ask you almost any question, and your answer would be beer, though, right?
But it's not little kids,
Right.
which is the most important part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy.
Yes. Did you feel kind of uncomfortable by that? Seriously,
I
You
was
thought it was odd?
shocked when
And
he
then
said that. Yeah.
Were you shocked that they kind of kept going about it? Like they didn't just like try to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and then who was it? Let's see.
The best answer was Larry was like, I think you're copping out because what your true substitute for romance is silly putty. And I was like, this show the whole way has been quietly very sexual.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the dating game. Those kind of
Oh, yeah.
that whole era of
Yeah.
questioning.
If I was a popsicle, what would you do to me? All right. So that was the end. There was no final round of anything. It was just 8 questions and a lot of jibba jabba.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it
like I
was.
said, there was no separate rounds, and it was basically just like if you got it right, you got the money, but if you got it wrong, the whole like $800 at the end of it, like $800 went to the other person.
And that's a big part of the problem.
And they mentioned something about like special. Here's so and so, our announcer, with some special gifts for some special gift segment. You know,
Yeah,
is what,
yeah.
you know, like
Johnny Jacobs, tell us about the prizes.
for whoever loses. You know, which obviously there's going to be there's going to be a TV set that weighs 400 pounds. 2, there's going to be some luggage.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And a tea set.
And a tea set.
Yeah. It's the part of the program where we say, like, we watch this garbage. What's wrong with it? Mom, do you have any notes about why this show didn't work?
Why do you think it didn't work?
Even if the notes are just in your head, that works too.
There was just no like substance to. I mean, and the whole money issue. I felt like either you win everything or you win nothing.
Right.
And the whole.
I will say this. I don't know if that's the case, if you win everything or you win nothing, because if someone got a right answer in there, would they have gotten something? Because every answer we saw was wrong, so the money kept volleying. If someone had a right answer in there, would they have gotten something?
No, they would just
would've
help.
stayed.
They would
Maybe.
they would have
The money
stayed
would
with
have
the.
stayed.
Yeah, it was to me. It was very apparent that they would have stayed with whatever. Like
Whoever got it right.
Let's
So,
say.
so you guys
if-
do
if-
believe that even if they got answers right towards the beginning of it, at the end,
Yeah.
it still would volley back and forth.
Right, because
Yeah.
let's say
Yeah.
there was $500 and you answered it right, you'd have the $600 and you get to go again. And then if you got it wrong, then
Okay.
the $700 went to the other side.
They just kind of went. They didn't explain the rules, which is fine. But yeah, cause that was definitely a confusing part. What would you improve, Blake, if you had the chance?
I wouldn't have had so many stars. Let's just have 5.
That's my exact
Yeah.
notes.
Exactly.
Well, because I know you. Just have 5. 8 is 2. 8 or 7 will beg to differ on that.
Eight. My exact notes are 8 is more than enough.
More than enough. But it's too much. There's too many people. Because what's going to eventually happen if this show goes on is you're going to start to get like C-list stars.
You're gonna
to
get
be
a lot
on
of.
here.
You're gonna get a lot of Richard Simmons.
Yes.
A lot of Richard Simmons.
Ooh, a lot.
This is what's wrong with this show. It is boring to watch.
There's nothing at stake.
It's relying.
Right.
It's relying on celebrities to use what little, if any, improv skills they have to provide the majority of the content.
Right.
The host is virtually inconsequential in this show.
Yep.
And you want a good host. That's why I love Bob Barker. You ever hear that theme song for the show he does?
I think I've heard it once or twice, but maybe like it goes dun dun dun. Nope. Okay.
But when you're relying on the celebrities, because a lot of these guys,
They're relying on the celebrities to be the fat of the show. Like
Yes, that doesn't
take up
work.
the most. Yeah.
that doesn't work. And then I said the same thing. Less celebrities. Get like 3 or 4. 4 max. You don't need many more than that.
And
Now, wait a minute. Hollywood Squares had 9, and it made it for a long time.
But
But they had Jim J. Bullock.
the thing,
You're right.
but they weren't all talking at once. Like they didn't. Like there wasn't one question and they went through all 9.
No, you're
you know
right,
what I mean?
yeah.
So they maybe like 2 or 3 of them would like do a little zinger, but it wasn't. They didn't go through each one of them. Yeah, and to
Charlie
make it,
Weaver, too, by the way.
That's the right. Yeah.
to make a square, you have to have 9. So I mean, they didn't call it Hollywood Triangle.
Charlie Weaver is the early version of the guy who's there every week. And then you got
Paul Lind.
Paul
What,
Lind.
the guy with the big glasses. That Paul, was that.
He always had an ascot, didn't
Which
he?
was the gay guy?
Paul Lind.
Paul Lind. Yeah.
He wasn't. He
And
wasn't
Jim
gay.
J. And Jim J. Bullock.
He wasn't gay. He was a confirmed bachelor.
Sure.
And then you had Whoopi Goldberg in the center square.
Kind of like.
Do you ever watch those old ones?
Not that show. There
Those
was
were
a
fun.
channel.
I remember watching those when I was staying home sick from school. Yeah, I would watch Hollywood
USA
Squares
Network.
for her.
You're gonna have Hollywood Squares. You could have American Gladiators. And what else? What else was on during the day?
Was Card Shark on
Yeah,
there?
you gotta watch Card Shark. That's what I would watch.
See, I didn't care for that one.
I love those big cards. I love a big set of cards.
Yeah.
Big deck of cards.
Careful.
That would have been fun.
Put on your list.
Okay, sorry.
Can't say that.
So far, I'm only at 4.
My mom's hip to innuendo. Okay, now we talk about what other people thought of this show. We often say there's nothing special about Blake. Arguably, there's something special about me, but we don't have special access to these shows. Anyone can see these things. We give people the links. We want to know what people from around the world had to say about Cop Out. IMDb score out of 10, 1 out of 10. Decimal points in play. Mom, do you have a guess what people think of Cop Out?
A score?
1 out of 10 decimal points in play.
2.4.
2.4. Blake?
6.5.
Wow, he didn't cheat this week. It's a 3.5 from 6 ratings. Critic Reviews. Jay from GeoCities. Wow, that's
Wow, that's old.
It is old. He says, ha, 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 a bunch. Eek, this is such a dull pilot. Forgive the unsophisticated review, but it's really bad. The game itself is poor. The celebrity interplay, bad. And the aesthetics, cheap as well. Mm-hmm. Robert Seidelman from GameShowGarbage.com says, what was the main guy's name? Jeff? Or no,
Jeffrey
Barrett. Oh, no, Chuck Barris was the producer. Barris was known, I didn't copy the B when I copied and pasted this. Barris was known for pushing the envelope, and he didn't here. If he had pushed the questions to be more like the Newlywed Game, it might have been interesting to see, but he played it safe and just ended up with second-degree burns. Hilarious. USGameShows.net says, the pilot with 8 celebrities proved to be too unwieldy. If I had to revive this, and I wouldn't, but you never know, I would probably cut this down to 4 celebrities, giving 2 questions each, so you wouldn't have each celebrity fighting for airtime. Viewer reviews. Just a couple here real quick. Linda Isley says, just 8 months ago, this is the weirdest, dumbest concept for a game show I've ever seen. No wonder it didn't get picked up. The Zotmeister 1 year ago says, hey, it's easy to see why this didn't get picked up. Scoring? What the devil is scoring? Just make the one at the end of the line the only one that matters. Not sure what that means exactly. Peter,
Well, that means you don't have to answer any of them right until the last one to get all the money.
Get it
Yeah.
all,
Okay.
Yeah.
Peter Miller says, Jeff is uncharacteristically stiff in this. That's it.
When we were talking about the whole like what's wrong with this show,
Yeah.
you referenced it at the beginning of the show, but we did not talk about it at all. It's very sexist, right?
The show?
Yeah.
Everything,
In the 70s.
yeah, I would say
60s.
up to 1992 probably. It was fairly sexist on TV. But what we've often said on the show for some of these is that seemingly the women don't care. I don't know. There's a lot of smiling and
That's
head nodding and
what they're used to, I think.
yeah.
I know when he introduced the contestants, the girl contestant, he said she is an auto racing enthusiast who works in the pits while her husband races. Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah.
And then introduced the guy celebrity. He's the creator and owner of one of Southern California's most popular restaurants. It's like she's a nothing.
Women. Oh, well, she's an accessory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
She's an
Yeah.
accessory, as all of our pets are. It's time to grade Cop Out, and we do so. I assume Blake is taking a piece, so he usually gives usually lays out the scoring system. But it's a 1 to 7 scale based on the popular TV show from the 1990s, affectionately and accurately known as Wings. All the characters from that program are given a score or rating. 1 is the worst score, and that's the character known as Roy Biggins. And 7 is the best score you're going to get, and that's a character goes by the name of Brian Hackett. Mom, you are our guest, known as Mom. We turn to you. How do you rate Cop Out?
So number 1 to 6, do you?
No, 1 to 7.
1 to 7? I'm going to say a 1.
Really?
Yeah.
That bad, huh?
It's very bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's very bad.
Pretty bad. I apologize. I left for a minute, but I did want to ask you a question about
Were you
this.
checking the cleanliness of the bathroom?
Yes.
How was it?
Fair to moderate.
Okay.
I give it a 5.
5 out of 7?
5 out of 7. As a young lady in 1972, and with some of the sexist comments, or now you were living during that time, still a little young, but was that kind of a standard thing? Like, were women, was it still the women's mentality of like, oh, the guys, they're just drinking martinis and they're saying stuff, and like you were not supposed to take offense to it?
I think it was.
It was right before it clicked, right? It was like
Right.
maybe 5-10 years before,
Right.
like before it was like women were like, we're not going to put up with that. But in 1972, it was still.
I would say it was still typical. Yeah.
Right. And
yeah.
it was just like,
Yeah.
But did
It-
you take offense to that? Or were you angry about the
It
way
was-
women
it
were
was
treated?
So that was the norm. I mean, I didn't.
So you didn't think twice about
I
it?
didn't think twice about it.
it was like
I don't
orange.
remember.
It was like orange Jello, right? It
I
was
remember.
that's what it was.
I do remember thinking like Dating Game. I don't think we were supposed to watch it, but
Did you watch episodes of the dating game?
yeah.
Okay.
And I felt like those.
You
were
meant
rather-
back then you weren't supposed to watch it, and you secretly would watch it.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Okay.
But it
But I felt like those questions were really,
Right.
yeah, really bad.
You accept
and
the
worse than
reality in
these.
which you're given.
right. And one of the things I go back to kind of to give people because I was not a woman in the 70s, obviously.
You're barely a woman now.
But I'm a member of the Moose, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. That there was a time at the Moose where women couldn't sit at the bar. God,
They call it the golden age of the
yes,
Moose.
I would. I missed. I wish I would have been. Oh,
Women's suffrage took a back seat
No.
at the Moose Lodge.
but it's the same thing. At that time, the women probably weren't complaining about it because that's just the way it was. That's the kind of point I'm trying to make. Is like with this show and the comments and like the time that it's just the way it was. You mentioned it yourself. It's like
Yeah.
that you just.
Well, women stayed home more, and the guys would go out after work, or the guys, like my dad did. He went to the bar after.
Right,
work.
he didn't call
But
your
my mom was home making dinner and
Right, but-
helping.
your dad didn't call your mom like at 4:30 before he got off and said, "Hey, do you want to meet at Jake's bar?"
Well, she would never anyway.
No, but you know
But-
you know what I mean.
no,
Like,
yeah,
it was
no.
never like,
It was
"Hey,
the guys.
do you
It
want
was
to
the
go?"
guys thing.
He was just like, he
Yeah.
maybe didn't even call her and tell her. He just went, and it was just assumed that's where he
Yeah,
was.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I wish I lived in this.
They didn't have Netflix back then.
Ugh, never mind.
Yeah, you gotta have Netflix.
I'm not going there. Jason, you watched this pilot, and there is a rating system. Obviously, you guys went over that while I was checking the bathroom.
Taking a huge dump. Yeah.
No, I don't want to poop in my own house.
Right.
I poop in the neighbor's yard.
Do you know my neighbor?
He taught me everything I know. To be honest with you, $30, I will go over tonight and poop in his yard.
Okay.
On his doorstep. I will do it on his doorstep.
He has a Ring doorbell, so he
Oh, so do I.
that has no bearing on you pooping on his house. So whether or not you have a Ring doorbell has nothing to do.
because
with...
I know the range. Anyway, Jason, how do you rate
Yeah, that's a good question.
Cop Out?
It's not good. It's TV at this point is 20 years old, and to me, a lot of the cliches and tropes are figured out. This doesn't. There's no scoring system. There's no because in a game show you have to have at least normal gameplay, like one or two slightly different rounds of gameplay, and then at the end you have a thing for the last guy. There's always a thing where you could be the big winner at the end. That's the structure that we are used to. It's a structure that makes sense. It's a structure that builds anticipation. We didn't have that here. We just saw two people volley $100 back and forth until the end.
And the guy was creepy. I just want to remind
Frank Serico creeped me the hell out.
He was very creepy, and he was like, he was like lounging.
Thought he was something.
He was lounging on the count. It was
human slime.
Yeah.
I will say this: I hate Frank Serico.
You know what? I liked when Al Pacino played him.
Oh, that's Serpico. That's different.
Oh, my bad.
That's different. Oh, he was handsome, wasn't he?
Oh, he was
secretly gay. I don't know if you knew that about Al Pacino.
Who was Serpico or
all cruising? The whole movie cruising. That was
well, he played a gay guy in Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, did he?
Oh, in Dog Day Afternoon.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, in Cruising, he was not gay.
He just was.
Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon. They
almost called it Dog Gay Afternoon.
He robbed the bank because he was trying to pay for his boyfriend's sex change. Were you high the whole time you watched that?
Dog Day Afternoon probably came out.
Go back and watch that.
It probably came out like early 80s, right?
Yeah.
I remember
Can you imagine? Just close your eyes and think of what a sex change operation in the early 80s would look like.
Oh, at least $15.
No, not the cost.
Oh, how it would look.
Yeah.
Oh, it would look really choppy.
Like a couple of cold cuts sewn together.
Well, think about this. In 1975,
here we go.
I had open heart surgery. The scar is a foot long.
Yeah.
My stepson had it in 96.
Like father, like son.
And it's 3 inches, so they would have chopped all that.
Oh yeah. That would have been a mess. What a mess! Just a hanging piece of an unfunctional flesh is what that would be.
I've already got four marks. I'm not doing.
Well, I'm good. I'm good for a few. We're almost done.
You've got about 7
already.
I'm
good to go.
Speaking of that, do you remember back in 7th grade English class? With who was the guy that the girl chopped his?
Lorena Bobbitt.
Yeah, Bobbitt. Do you remember that?
Did I do something in 7th grade English class related to that?
You wrote a speech.
I wrote a speech about that?
You know what?
No, I didn't. Did I?
You know what? You be quiet because I want to hear about this.
I don't. Yeah, go. I would like to hear about it. I don't remember this at all.
You took Dad's tape measure, and whoever you did the speech with cut it.
That had nothing to do with that.
Yes,
though.
it was. It was.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I do remember the tape measure. We were going to use it as like a sword or something.
Okay.
That don't think that. What do you remember?
No,
that
Mom, don't stop. Keep going.
I would never just say that.
No, I think we're writing commercials is what it was. I don't remember the specifics. I thought it was like I don't remember that having anything to do with Lorena Bobbitt. I remember Dad going crazy because someone cut the thing, which is like $10. Like, come on,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'll mow the grass twice. What do you want?
Well, maybe you
I don't
just.
think
Maybe
she's right about this.
Maybe
Doesn't
you
make
just
sense.
told me that. I don't know.
We're just measuring our dicks in speech class.
No,
Mom?
it
I
was
don't
some
think
kind of a speech that you guys had written, and it was about that situation. But
I think we need to talk about your drug use. Something is up. It's not that. Blake's losing it. He's peeing himself. I've seen that face. You're filling your trousers, aren't you?
If I hadn't already went and checked the bathroom, I would be peeing myself. That's hilarious.
I don't think
in
that's
7th
right,
grade,
But
you
we'll
did
talk.
a speech about Lorena Bobbitt, and you used
I don't
a tape
think we
measure.
did. I don't think that's right.
You know
I
what?
think we did like a commercial for like a bubble bath or something.
Your mother
I
is a
thought.
saint, and she would not
So
lie.
what was
Maybe
the
that's-
tape measure for?
I don't remember. I don't know.
That's what you told me. So maybe you were just right. Give it.
Speak of the mic.
Oh, maybe you were just putting me on.
I think what it was is he got caught.
No,
Trying to measure himself.
I do remember that in class when it happened. I do remember it getting cut with scissors. That did happen in class. I can't imagine a world in which we were doing something Lorena Bobbitt related.
I was shocked too. But I mean, so I think maybe you were just
Lying to
just lying to me.
I don't. Maybe I don't.
I don't know.
I remember that thing happening, but I don't remember that portion of it at all. I give it a 2. Blake.
Okay.
Captain Philip, rest assured, I turn to you. How do you rate it?
I am a game show connoisseur, so to speak, and I want lights. I want bells and whistles. I want competition. I want to feel on the edge.
Yes.
I don't want to see a basket of eggs go from one side to the other, and they add an egg. There was no bonus round. There was no nothing. I love the fact that they were smoking on TV. I wish we could go back to that, but thanks a lot, Obama, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a smoke bump. because I love that. Dickie, as I found out he was known. That moment was so awkward. It was a pleasure to see. Like, it was just, it's nostalgia, right? It's nostalgia. They would have cut that, edited, and you would have never saw that today. You know, he wouldn't even have said being around children. This is why I like watching these old ones. I've said it before. The clothes, the hairdos, I'm going to give it a 3.
Give it a 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something I did not mention too. Is the striking lack of any kind of sound effects.
Yeah.
It was just stone silent
Yeah.
until they would chat back and forth.
There was no
about their
buzzer. There wasn't even.
No.
There was no buzzer.
Nothing.
And there didn't need to be a buzzer.
But still, I mean, like there
hey,
wasn't even
lock
a
in your
buzzer.
answer. Vip, 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 you know,
Yeah, well-
he's copping out. No, I was telling the truth. Boom, 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 boom.
Well, here's
And you don't think either one is true. They're not.
well, and here's
any of the answers seem like they were
and
ridiculous.
like when he would say lock in your answer, it's just a handle, and there's only one button. So I really think it didn't matter what they just.
I think there's probably something else. I couldn't
still.
get a good look at it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they pressed something, but like you're right. I want more pizzazz, lights, camera, action. I'm
because
sorry,
the
Miss
audience
Jackson.
the audience does not know if they're copying out or telling the truth. So that leads me to be like, when they finally give their answer, they could have changed their answer. You know, I mean, let's say they didn't like the Frank Zappa guy.
I think whether or not they were actually telling the truth is another example of just
You should know that,
of being
though, right?
inconsequential. It doesn't matter.
But you
Right,
should,
right.
But if it was a game show, you should know, as the audience on TV, you should know the answer.
You should be able to guess an answer yourself.
When they push it,
you should show at home.
see what it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
I like that idea. That's a good idea.
And it was a 2, but I had a cigarette bump, so it was a 3.
Right. And with your score of a 3 and mine of a 2 and my mommy score of a 1, we close the book on Cop Out, and we'll never speak of that show again.
Yeah.
But join us next time, won't you please, when we watch the pilot episode of The Riddlers. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. A bizarre show in which 5 celebrities played against 5 contestants. You can find the entire episode of The Riddlers by subscribing to Couch Pilots and SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube, Mom.
Yes.
Blake,
do you think he should use punctuation on that little segment?
She said she wasn't an English teacher.
But she knows about punctuation. Even developmentally disabled people need to know about punctuation. When she was sitting there, she was watching you. Mm-hmm. First of all, she saw
loves
you,
me.
She saw you turning red.
She loves me.
And she kind of stood up a little bit because she thought you were going to pass out. And I said to her, as a former teacher, he should put punctuation in that, right?
I like
that
punctuation.
That was a run-on.
But I think he was trying to squeeze in. He's run out of time. I think he was trying to squeeze it all in.
There's no time limit. So he won't. I've tried this for years, is to get him to use punctuation. We've been doing this podcast for 28 years. We're on season 28. And you won't use punctuation. I just wish you would, just for your own health.
You don't gain anything from it. You just want to see me succeed.
Oh, I gain, yes, by use. Oh, excuse me. I need to gain something
No,
for
I'm
you
just
to
asking.
succeed.
I'm just asking.
No, I just want you to succeed.
Okay. All right. You know what? Now that I know that, I'll consider it.
I'll punch you in front of your mom.
Please don't do that. We keep forgetting to do the contact
We
information.
kind of did it, and I thought you were going there, and then you stopped.
Do you want to do any more contact information or just cut it?
CouchPilotspodcast.com. It's a one-stop shop. You can get all of our episodes there. Spotify, you can get all the episodes. Check us out on both of those places. On CouchPilotspodcast.com, you can go to, or you can message us, email us. There's hot links to everything. Our Twitter, our Instagram, which is banging.
Cancel the Instagram.
I'm not going to do it.
You don't do anything with it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Cancel it.
No, I do so much stuff already.
Get rid of it.
What if I start doing? What if I agree?
Start doing something with it.
What if I agree to you right now in front of your mother,
Yeah.
and I would not want to let your mother down? My mom, whatever, it's fine. But I will start posting on our Instagram
Do it then.
once a week,
Do it.
starting on March 8th.
Fine. Go to patreon.com, and there's a search engine on that site. And if you type in Couch Pilots, our information comes up, and then you can give us money, and then we won't claim it when it comes time to do our taxes. We'll just take the money.
I didn't. I thought
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were, but I did not.
No,
claim it.
you know damn well I have nothing to do with anything with Facebook or Patreon. You know I don't know anything. You could have made tons of money from this show, and I would have no idea. You know that?
Yeah.
Don't claim it though. I don't want you to.
No,
I want
won't.
you to have the most amount of money possible.
I won't claim my gambling winnings, and I don't claim what we make
Good
on
for you. Good for you.
Patreon.
Stand strong.
Yeah.
What
That's a 1040G.
how much longer should I do this show? You think?
Another 28 years. Yeah. You'll be about my age.
Oh
Fine.
no,
No, you'll be older than that.
you're only 36 years old.
My
Don't
mom.
lie.
My
You're
mom
a
wants
beautiful young woman.
28 more seasons of the show.
Oh boy.
That'll be 10 years. We'll quit at the 10-year anniversary.
You want to quit? Let's do a truce right now. At the 10-year anniversary, we will quit.
I have an idea for 300, episode 300. You want me to tell it to you now or not?
Sure, we'll give you a little tease.
Okay. The number 300 is very important in my idea, so that's the tease.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Fucking Seinfeld. Jeez.
First of all, we'll do two things. One is you've been doing gambling tips at the end of the show,
Sure.
right? You're a degenerate gambler, and you think that you have things figured out to where
No,
you can
I
minimize
didn't say
losses and
it
maximize
just-
winnings.
I have tips. Is what I'm.
Give us one of your gambling tips, Mom. I hope you have a pen and paper and some paper towel for that knocked over water.
It's fine.
That's been there the whole show.
It's fine. It's no big deal.
Blake's freaking out in his head.
We've only flooded this basement 3 times. Oh, you were here the last time you were here. The last time you were
she
here
really
was
made a
right.
mess. She
That's
really
right.
made a mess.
The last time you were here was right before I started doing the redo.
Right
It was
after,
right-
no,
right
you'd
after the
redone
flood.
It. You'd redone it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Looks nice.
Do you have a tip for us?
Yeah, sure. So today's tip on gambling, it's kind of a tip, and it's also kind of a etiquette. All right. When you're gambling, whether it's at a bar or at a casino or on a boat, whatever, and you're on a machine,
Right.
okay, and you're playing that machine, whether it's hot or it's not, and you get up from that machine, and at bars there's little like laminated signs that says this is in use, but at casinos people just prop their chair up on it like this is being used, don't sit down.
So like what? Someone went to go to the bathroom.
Or yeah, go to the bathroom. But like at bars, a lot of time, which I've noticed is people will be playing a machine and they'll put that little laminated sign that says this machine is in use, and then they'll go out to the smoke room for 30 minutes and smoke and talk to their friends, and then they'll go up and buy some beers and stand there for another 20 minutes. So like for an hour, that machine's not being used because quote unquote you have it. Don't do that. Don't do that. This is the etiquette part of gambling. If you have to go pee real bad, if you have to go up and get a beer, fine.
What's the most amount of time you should do?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay.
Anything more than 15 minutes, if you're going to be gone, just push the collect button. Just push the collect button. All right?
Okay.
Don't be... Can you cover your ears for a second? Well, actually, take your headphones off. That works better. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
All right?
That's strike 3. Buddy.
No.
Don't be a Dickie Dawson.
Don't be a Dickie Dawson
pretty good.
and like spending time with children.
Well, that's a good tip.
I have a better one for next episode.
Etiquette is good. Etiquette is, I think, a good part of gambling.
For sure.
Thank you for that.
Do you ever go gambling? Do you ever go slot?
A couple times.
Would you ever get up from a machine and like be gone for 40 minutes and expect
No.
and leave it? First of all, leave your money in there.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking when you were
There's
saying
people that
Yeah.
do that. Like there's people like these people are leaving between $50 and $100, maybe $300 in this machine, and all that's protecting you is you tilting your stool or putting a laminated sign on it.
It's okay, buddy.
Don't do
it's okay. You did a great job with this segment. You don't have to get upset. You did a great job.
Muchos gracias.
Mom, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, my pleasure.
Are you embarrassed that I do this?
No, why?
Are you embarrassed that Blake does this with me?
Well,
You know what?
no, I love you both.
We had a great time.
My mom doesn't even tell me she loves me. So that's
That is
great.
true. He makes a big note of that. Well, this pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
See you later, folks.
Bye.
Thank you very much for coming and being on. And thanks for dumping a whole bunch of water all over the floor.
I had no idea that.
feel bad.
No, don't feel bad.
Can I take these off?
Huh?